Good morning, everyone. Hope you all are doing well. Happy Saturday. Let's take a look and see what's going on with Bitcoin for the day. So, taking a look at our daily candle, had a nice, decent wick to the downside, using 63,940 as support. So, definitely a decent sign for the bulls. I would like to see us get back above this 21 MA around 64 to 11, which is definitely possible. I mean, we've been ranging within a very small range for the most part. Even you can see it within here. I mean, we're talking, a high of 64,255, low of 63,768. So you're just staying within a $500 range here. That's a very small range, exactly what you want to see on a weekend, right? I've told you guys many times I don't want to see expansive moves when it comes to the weekends, so this is perfect ranging activity for a weekend. Let's take a look at the 12 hour. So 12 hour not showing anything too much different. You are getting that 50 MA to come into price action, so that definitely, as long as you can keep that, that can be a bullish sign. Let's take a look at the 8 hour. You got your moving averages slowly kind of getting close to each other. The more that we can kind of stay within this range, between 63,940 and that 65,186, you're going to see these moving averages start to really bundle up together. So definitely a very bullish sign in my opinion, as long as you can keep some of these bottom 80 and 100 MAs down here. But it's not too bad. It's not too bearish just yet. I was more bearish last night to see if we, possibly got that follow through to the downside, but we didn't. We're using that 63,940 as support still. So taking a look here, I mean, it's really, like I always tell you guys, it's really going to depend on, where we are within our current range. So if you're taking the range from, let's say, within this last, I would say probably the last couple of weeks, even through July here, you could probably say from here up to here, you definitely are in the premium, right? We've talked about that. We're in the premium of the range, right? If you take it all the way from June. However, if you take it from that bottom, and you start to zoom out and you take it up to this top up here, then that we're in a discount, right? We're below that 50% line. So it really is dependent upon where price action sees, where it's in its range. Like, is it in just the local range? And if so, we're at near the top of it. But if we're actually going to break out into the bigger range, but again, we're in the discount of it. So just kind of keep that in mind. And another thing I want you to put into perspective is also, like I always tell you guys, is timing. Um, you know, I wouldn't want to see price get back into the bigger range on a weekend, right? I would want to see it do it during the week, ideally, because more so if it were to happen on a weekend, it just might not get a follow through for the week and it could just roll over. So as long as we can stay, and not dip too far down, just keep making these lower highs here. You definitely could potentially expect a bullish move. It's just the major danger, like I was telling you guys, is getting, basically possibly seeing a rollover at any given time down into the 61 area, 60,000 area, where we know there's a lot of liquidity. And Trading Different has been telling us that, the odds are that you're going to probably go down here before you start moving on up, right? So anything can happen in this market. It's not a given that this is going to roll over. It's just we have to be prepared for both scenarios, right? And there's a possibility, like I've told you guys, that we can hit up to 67.5, get rejected, and come all the way back down here as well. So it may want to fake out some bulls as well, and bears too. So it really is going to be dependent upon, where we are within the range, number one, and number two, if there's going to be any trickery involved, right? Where we're, pushing on one side and then we're going to completely reverse and wreck the other. Um, so that's kind of what I am expecting, especially, we're going to be getting into the last week of the month as well, so that's another big possibility. And usually the last week of the month and the first week of the month are more of a seek and destroy type of profile, especially the last week. So there's a possibility, guys, that we could get, either a move up, tap this up here, take out this double top, and then just fall straight down, or we do the opposite. We fall down first and then we wreck the bears basically and come right back up. Either way, I could see that happening, right? So just kind of framing a couple ideas for you guys. Again, I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen, and nobody is, but I go based off of liquidity, order book, and what I'm visually seeing in the market based off of time, and that's how I'm able to get a pretty accurate read onto what price is doing. Um, so taking a look at our 1 hour, you know, I personally, I mean, you guys can trade this. This is not something I'm interested in trading at all. I ideally, for the most part, I do not play weekends unless I have a strong feeling that we're going to get some sort of bullish move up or bearish move down, and it's a strong move. But for the most part, 90% of the time, weekends are a no trade day for me personally, but not financial advice. You do what you want with that information. Um, Taking a look at this, you're unfortunately, the only thing that's tripping me out here is you double bottomed right underneath 63,940. You double bottomed around 63,769. Um, and again, I always tell you guys I don't want to see double bottoms, but there's a potential this reverses price. It's just that, keep in mind, like I always say, the more that you tap a support line or a resistance line for that matter, the odds are that it's going to fail eventually, right? So just kind of keep that in mind. Even if we came down here and went to 63,322, bounced from there, that would be ideal as well. We don't necessarily even have to go further than that, but that's kind of what I'm seeing for right now. So let's see here. And there's also a potential, like, we do have weekly open 64.7, 64.9. If we do get some sort of a move up somehow this weekend, either today or tomorrow, I would check for both of these levels to be tested first. Okay. That being said, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at liquidity and see what's going on there. Let me zoom into the 4 hour. All right, so taking a look at liquidity, you definitely have a potential move to 62,126. It shows, when it comes to the 25x, that would be your first line of defense before you move down into the 61K region and the 60,000 region, I would say. Definitely, we don't really have any bridges to the upside unless you really probably zoom in here. Yeah, even still, I mean, I'm going to have to really yeah, I have to really zoom in to see anything. So definitely not a good sign for the Bulls, honestly. Especially as we get close to weekend. I also told you guys that, the next weekly candle we do want to see drop. So I would not be surprised if we did drop into somewhere down here before we get that bounce back up and build up some more liquidity to the upside, some more bridges to get us back up here. Um, 10x, we do have more red above us, but again, like I said, guys, we just do not have the bridge, to get us back up like we do to the downside. So anything that is a potential bounce, at least until the middle of next week, I would say could be definitely a failed move for the most part. Let's see. Once we get into the Fed folder, like I think there's an FOMC meeting on Wednesday, that's when you could possibly see a reversal to the upside if we are dumping. But if we pump for the beginning of the week, just know that the FOMC meeting will probably do the opposite, where we will fall potentially and drop. Taking a look at the 1 hour. Okay, so the 1 hour does show a small bridge to the upside. That's what the 25x checked off. Okay, so 50x is not bad. 100x, you got some red right above us. So 64,479, it looks like it's showing before you might get a rejection there. So just kind of keep that in mind. Let me turn off or lower the aggregation there. Yeah, so 64.4 would be what I'd be targeting if we were to get the move to the upside. To the downside, it looks like you got 63,630 going. 50x probably takes you down lower. Yeah, 63,000 even, which basically aligns with open markets order book here. If you take a look here on the right, you can see there are more orders to the downside, so this can take you down to 63K. You started getting a big order around 61,492, about a 439 Bitcoin order. So definitely alluding to the fact that we could see that movement down. You do have a decent order at 64,977 if you can get the move up. You also have one at 64.3, which is kind of what we were talking about, 64.4. So just kind of keep that in mind, guys. I mean, we do have a lot of orders up here still, but unfortunately, because these orders are so close by to the downside, it does kind of give me um, a signal that there's a decent chance that we take this out first, right? There are a lot more orders to the downside. All right, so let me go to the 15 minute, kind of see what's going to be happening intraday here. Yeah, guys. So intraday, you have red on both sides. It kind of is a toss up in the air for right now, but I do see us if we. So let me put it this way: if we were to move up, watch for price to get rejected off of the 15-minute 200 MA. Around 64.5 ish. It's about $400 above us right now. But if we were to get the move to the downside, you want to see price bounce off of around 63.6 to down, even potentially down to 63,000 around there. But I would say more so 63.6, we do have a decent chance. Even 63.2 possibly, but nothing that's very far away from where price is right now. To the downside, you're looking at most about $1,000 move. To the upside, you're looking at about a $400 move. So nothing major really to kind of talk about with that. That being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the simple map, kind of see where that's at for right now. All right, so taking a look at the simple map, you can see that we actually have more short liquidity right above us to potentially take out. And it does show that we're going to have some issues probably around 64.4. Now, if we get past 64.4, that's when we could probably fall through this gap right here and test up 64.9, 64.8, more so closer to Monday midnight open, right? But we'd have to pass through that 64.4 barrier to the upside if we were to get the follow through. And then to the downside, kind of the same thing. It does look like we're going to have some sort of bounce potential around 63.6, 63.7, if we were to fall through this, taking out some of the longs. Once you got past this little impulse, though, this little bar, you do have a chance of taking out some of this, even down to 63.6. You get past that, you can go down to about 63,000. So it does align with what we've been talking about, right? The 63.6, 63.7 level, also down to 63.2, that's going to be right around there. 63,000, we see that on the order book. So this definitely aligns with what we've been seeing. Also to the upside, you got that 64.4 number that we were targeting, right, which is that 15-minute rejection, and then all the way up to 64.9, possibly getting rejected there, which is right around where you have the, like I said, the Monday midnight open for this week. So those are some key levels to watch for today, I would say. Let's take a quick look at the swing time frames. This has not been different lately from the smaller. So once again, guys, you're looking at 63,690 to possibly get a bounce from. If not, then you're going to roll over to around 63.6 even. And if you can still keep going to the downside, start taking these shorts out, then you'd be probably looking closer to around 63,000 even, or 63,200-ish area. And then obviously to the upside, if you were to start moving up, finding some resistance around 64.4. And then obviously if you can get through there, you'd probably be looking at about 64.9, 65,000-ish area to find some more resistance. So lines perfectly with the smaller time frames. Your bigger time frames do show that same exact information. Your order book shows that exact information. We kind of see it on the chart as well. So those are some key levels to watch for today. And with that being said, guys, that is what I have for you for right now. If you guys ever want to use Trading Different and its tools, please feel free to use my code Sean. So tradingdifferent.com/code/Sean. That'll land you a 10% off discount of the purchase that you make through and subscription that you make through Trading Different. Definitely helps you with identifying trend and identifying where price is going and where liquidity is at. That being said, guys, that is what I have for you for today. I will talk to you all later. Take care.